We're very, very old people.
We've been here a long time.
You couldn't know Jim without knowing Pam because she's so much a part of what makes him complete.
They're both completely and totally in love with education.
It didn't matter if I got here at 6 in the morning or 7, or I didn't get here at 6. But if I had gotten here at 6, I would have been after Pam got here.
What I remember the most about Jim is how intelligent Jim is.
He had that constant belief that with the right mentoring, the right coaching, everyone would be in a better place.
Having named after both of them, to me, is a great thing for the district to have, and of course that's a big honor to them, but they deserve it.
It's been almost 41 years since she asked me to marry her.
It really is, seriously. It really was wonderful that we were both in the same profession and also in the same district, because sometimes when both a husband and wife are working, you don't understand the stresses and the challenges and the happiness and excitement that the other person is experiencing, and we did. We understood that.
Even though, Pam was a social studies teacher, Jim an English teacher, they were very supportive of one another.
Just watching her and Jim as educators coming from different avenues, but coming together and together, what a powerful couple in the world of education.
She's that warm person too that you can see, together that was just such a strong unit, for Cypher.
That's a unique situation where you have a husband and wife where they both have positions, I think, that are so stressful and time-consuming, and they had 2 young boys during that whole period of time.
The worst part was I was a Cypher High School Bobcat, the mother school that birthed all the rest of the high schools. He was a Cy Creek Cougar.
Certainly Pam was always a Cypher Bobcat, and Jim's always been a Cy Creek Cougar. I mean, that's a given. So I can see where that would be an issue between Pam and Jim in the home. I never saw it out.
The day after I signed my contract, or even that evening, there was a gathering, and Jim Wells came up to me and said, "Dr. Anthony, I'm Mr. Pam Wells."
We stayed 4 years there before leaving the district to come out to this tiny little place called Cypress-Fairbanks, because we had built a home out here, and we thought, my gosh, we're going to the end of the world. But I was going to Cypress Creek High School as an English teacher and assistant basketball coach,
and I was going to be a 8th grade U.S. history teacher. Started at Arnold. At that time, it was junior high school.
Whether she was a teacher or a director of instruction or a curriculum coordinator, assistant to the superintendent or associate superintendent, Pam is one of those people that I think she must require little to no sleep.
Jim and I were assistant principals together back in the late 70s, early 80s, and then I was promoted to principal at Cypher, and Pam was my director of instruction.
I remained at Cypress Creek for 9 years. It was actually a pretty long haul. I was fortunate enough to become an assistant principal there.
He was our secondary health coordinator for several years while he was an assistant principal at Watkins.
And then from there I moved on to Thornton Middle School, Thornton Junior High School initially, which became Thornton Middle School. I was the inaugural principal there, spent 9 years there.
Jim created Thornton as the principal. He was the first one. He helped hire the staff initially and develop the procedures and processes that they used to accomplish the goals that everyone had for them.
Mr. Berry selected me to serve as assistant to the superintendent.
She met all of the criteria that I had for the position, and it turned out to be a really good decision.
Everybody had multiple responsibilities, and then what was all left over, they grouped it into one area and called it general administration and gave it to Pam, and it was all the jobs that nobody else wanted.
I was able to return to Cypress Creek High School, and as Thomas Wolfe said, you can never go home again, but I did. I remained at Cypress Creek from 2002 to 2012 as their longest tenured principal and retired in 2012.
When he was at Creek, he knew he had a critical job because a high school principalship is it's the toughest job in the district. And so Jim was always focused on making sure that he never let the district down by never letting the kids down.
We were really on the forefront and on the cutting edge of what was soon to come, which was a change at the state level in how we program high schools and how we instruct students to plan their 4- and 6-year plans with the endorsements and with that focus on where they're headed in their post-secondary lives.
She was so accepting of me being principal there, and she and I have talked about some of our best times and best memories, and our laughs are when we were together at Cypher High School.
She made me look a lot better than I was, and she made the district a lot better because of the things that she did.
And I always maintained that the most important people in the building were the kids. We were there to serve the kids, and of course through the teachers. And the teachers were obviously the second most important people in that building because they were the ones closest to the kids. And it was just an honor to be able to do anything that I could and my staff could, our support staff, to be able to support that process.
I was the assistant superintendent over secondary administration, and I was Jim's supervisor. Sometimes I would find it difficult carrying on conversations with him because he is so intelligent, but he also has a great sense of humor and a love for kids. I mean, that's obvious from the very beginning how much he loved his kids, even as a coach.
His whole focus and whole aim was what is in the best interest of the students.
Jim's focus was how do we make this school better to meet students' needs. And that's when we got into the academies, because we wanted students to understand when they were asked the question, what do you want to do when you graduate from high school? What are you going to do?
He believed every kid could be successful, but he wasn't defining that success as one place, one journey, one outcome. And I think that's really where the challenge is for all of us, is to help kids define success for themselves and then provide the opportunities they need to reach that.
He gets so passionate about his vision whenever we would have parent meetings, and he would have like a 10-minute block. Mr. Wells went on to like 30 minutes because he was so passionate about telling people about the school and the direction that we were going, so we all would have to start giving him signals like cut, cut, cut.
We chose the profession we were in, education, because we believe it is the most important institution to contribute to individuals and the development of individuals and the happiness of individuals, but also to the strength of a community and of a nation.
She is completely driven by the desire to do absolutely what is the right thing by kids.
And I think it's true of both, but no one loves this district more than Pam Wells. Even to this day, she may not be working here today, but no one loves this district more. Now, there are a lot of people with names on buildings that love it, but there's no one that loves Cyfair ISD for what it does for kids, for the teachers, and for the community than Pam Wells.
So it was during a basketball game, and the officials are going up and down the floor, and somebody is wearing the officials out. You hear these words like, "That was a terrible call. You're a bozo. That's terrible."
Did not say that.
Something on that order. Anyway, so they stop the game, and they walk over, and they call a technical foul on the book, on my wife.
I never got to keep the book again.
Yeah, so,
but I never did call him a bozo. I just said it was a bad call.
I definitely believe Jim on that.
Why do I believe it was Pam? Jim gets very into the game, so I could see that happening, yeah.
I would have to say I probably believe Jim on that one.
I wouldn't want to get involved in that argument.
I'm going to have to say it was 50-50. Because knowing the Welleses, each one of them had a little part in that.
I saw a tweet by the principal, the Wells principal, Cheryl Fisher, the day, and had to smile when I heard it. She said to the effect that I just can't wait for those kids to get there so we can start loving on them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's what it's all
Absolutely.
about at that age. So.
It'll be a school where there's a lot of enthusiasm, for what they're doing, for learning and for playing and supporting each other and all of their various co-curricular activities.
Well, I would expect that it would be this, what I think Jim and Pam represent, love for children and love for education.
I would expect that the parents will be very involved in the school.
Kids would be able to talk about, well, here's what I want to do when I grow up, and it would be beyond the, I want to be a ballerina.
And Pam will add to that by being persevere in your goals. Never give up on your goals. You may get detoured, you may get stymied, but you never give up. And you always treat everyone and everything like it's the most important.
This has been a really good year for us because at the end of January, our son and daughter-in-law gave us our very first grandchild. And now to have a school named after us, I mean, this is a wonderful year.
I knew that someday that a school would be named after Jim and Pam Wells because they represent this district and they've served it a long time and they served it well.
Congratulations, Pam and Jim. Thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this dedication. No one's more deserving.
I know kids going through Wells will have a bright future because you will set that example for them. I thank you for this honor to be able to talk, about you guys, and I wish you all the best.
I hope they enjoy going to Wells Elementary School and talking to the kids and talking to parents and being an ambassador for the school. I hope they enjoy it.
Each time we drive by that campus and each time we see that name in writing, we'll take a moment to think about you and think about the impacts you've had on all of us. And of course, I'll think about you specifically as you've impacted my career and my life.
I couldn't be happier for you, and I think the school board made a great decision, as they usually do, but this is one of the really good ones, and I'm pleased to call you my friends.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of Pam's heart, from the bottom of her family's heart as well.